Today we got a story of a subscriber's friend's sister that does some very, very, very weird stuff. Emphasis on weird. Leave a like to claim your free nothing. Let's get right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber John, and John was friends with this guy who we're going to call Ben, because I call basically every secondary character on this channel Ben. Anyways, right, Ben and John are friends, and one day Ben is like, hey man, do you want to like come over? Because John and Ben were really good like middle school, high school friends. They were friends for a very, very long time. Then they both went off to college, and it was finally summertime, so his friend, John's friend Ben was like, hey man, do you want to come over and like just like catch up or whatever? And yeah, sure enough, John was very excited to go and see his friend, as it had been a while, and he was like, yeah man, of course. So anyways, right, they schedule a day, and sure enough, John drives over, comes over to Ben's house, and they see each other for the first time in a while, and it's pretty cool. They're able to talk about what happens, what's been going down in college, what they've been up to, kind of reminiscing a little bit on the past. It was kind of a good, just like to, a get together again, as it had been a while. Anyways, right, so, Ben and John, I think they're just sitting on the couch playing, like, Xbox or something, playing, like, one of the games they'd always play in high school. Like, John would always come over to Ben's house, and instead of doing work together, they would always just, like, they play, so, like, I don't know, some, like, Call of Duty or something on the Xbox. And so, sure enough, they were playing that game or some game similar to kind of, like, reminisce. And when they were doing that, Ben's sister, my bad. Ben's sister, we're going to call her Lily, yeah. Let's call her Lily for this story. So Lily, walks into the door, and she's like, oh, wow, like, John, it's been so long, like, I haven't seen you in a while. And John sees, like, this look on her face that, like, slowly crept across it over a short period of time. Like, he couldn't exactly figure it out then, but, like, in retrospect, he's like, oh, okay. That look is starting to make a little bit more sense. So, anyways, Lily comes over, and, John and, Ben, they go over, like, and they talk to her, and, John is nice. He asks Lily, oh, how is, like, college doing? Because she had been in college for a couple years at this point. I think she was a junior or something. I don't even know. But she was in college for a couple years at this point. And, he was asking, like, her how it was going. And she was like, oh, it's been great. How's it going with you? And he explained that it was going well. And this is when the first kind of suspicious, kind of like a, hey, yo, type moment happens. So Lily, looks at John and is like, oh, John, have you been working out? And he's like, I guess a little. And Ben kind of has this look on his face like, hey, yo, like, well, huh? Like, oh, okay, I guess, like, fair enough to compliment my friend, but that's a little weird. Like, I don't know where you've been, like, okay, fine, I guess. Anyways, right, Ben kind of brushes this comment off, doesn't really think much about it, and says, yeah, I guess I've been working out a little bit. And, the truth was, he hadn't really been, so that's especially why the comment was, like, extra weird. And at this point, right, Ben was kind of looking at John like, bro, like, I don't know why she said that, like, my fault. But anyways, they kind of just moved on, they moved past it. Anyways, right, so John and Ben, they kind of just ignore the comment. And anyways, so kind of like flash forward a little bit, towards like the end of the day, since Lily was back from college too, she wanted to meet up with her old friends that still kind of lived in the neighborhood as well. So she kind of had like a bit of a house party for some of her friends. And, Lily was like, oh, John, why don't you stay? Because like Ben was going to be there too. And Ben was kind of like, oh, nice. Like, because I don't know, Ben, like, it was fine, hanging out with his sister and her friends, but Ben definitely would have, like, preferred if John was there. Like, that would have just, like, honestly been more enjoyable. So he was like, oh, okay. And let me just say that if you thought that, like, the comment earlier was a little bit suspicious, a little bit off, it hits the fan, is what I'm trying to say at this party. It hits the fan. Like, what, like, 100,000x what it was, like, the thing that happened just a second ago at this party is 100,000x when it gets worse. Anyways, right, so Lily's friends come over, and, Ben and John, they're kind of just hanging out with each other, and, that's fine, whatever, right? And at Lily's party, right, she ends up, this skip forward a little bit, and she ends up having a little bit too much apple juice, and when you have way too much, of this adult apple juice beverage, I'm trying to keep ads on this video, you don't always make the greatest decisions ever. And you're also sometimes a bit more bold than usual, if you know what I mean, right? And Lily was about to be a little bit too bold and get herself in trouble, but also make for a pretty good story. Anyways, right, so at that moment, right, Ben and John, they were, just, I don't know, on the couch playing some video games. I think they had, like, pizza for dinner, but for some reason, right, John was a little bit thirsty, man. He needed to get some water. He needed to stay hydrated. He needed to replenish those fluids in his body, right? So anyways, right, John decides to go up and, get some water, which, go up to the kitchen, grab a glass. And when he goes up there, grabs a glass, goes to the sink, starts pouring some water. You know who stumbles in the room, right? Lily stumbles in the room. And she's definitely at a point where, her decision-making process is a bit impaired, to say the least. Like, she's not going to be making the greatest decisions ever known to man. You know who also comes in the room, but also isn't, like, super apparently in the room? Ben. Ben is also thirsty. But, he comes in and he's a little bit more discreet. He kind of just goes to the refrigerator, which is at, like, the far end of the room. And if you're at a point where you're not making the best judgment calls, you might have not noticed that Ben was in the room. But at this point, right, Ben is there, John is there, and Lily's there. And it's about to be quite the experience for Ben and John. Anyways, right, so Lily, looks over at John. She's like, John, I haven't seen you in so long. And John in his head is like, oh, dear God, like, I saw you legitimately, like, 3 hours ago. Actually, no, I saw you, like, an hour ago when you walked by, but I, like, saw you, like, 4 hours ago, and we talked for, like, a good 20 minutes, and then you said that weird comment, like, you better not try anything. Anyways, right, Lily's like, oh, John, it's been such a long time. John's like, it really hasn't, but it's nice to see you again, Lily. It really is. Lily's like, oh, John, do you have, like, a girlfriend at school? You must be so popular with the ladies. At this point, Ben, who's getting, like, a drink from the fridge, is kind of, like, paused for a second. He's like, hey, yeah, like, my sister, my sister better have, like, better judgment than what I think she's about to do. Like, she better have slightly better judgment than what I think she's about to do. Like, there's not, anyways, in his head, he's like, no, she's not gonna try anything, right? She's not gonna try anything on my good friend, on potentially one of my best friends that she knows is my best friends. No way my sister would do anything like that. And anyways, right, Lily's like, oh, John, like, oh, like, because John says, oh, no, I don't have a girlfriend. She's like, oh, John, no, that's crazy. I'm sure all the girls love you. You just got to be more out there. You just got to talk to them a little bit. And Ben is still thinking this is weird. And John, the subscriber, yes, he also finds this very weird, very uncomfortable. Because here's the thing, right? It's not like Lily isn't, like, good-looking girl, right? Yeah, John admits that. However, his loyalty comes first to his friend Ben, and he's got to stay loyal to his friend. Understandable, right? And so anyways, right, you might be thinking that it is escalated to the peak. No. It's about to get much, much, much worse. Anyways, right, as soon as John thinks that the situation has escalated to his, like, the peak as it was going to be, and that, finally it was over, he could just go grab some water, like, he could get his water because he was thirsty, and just go back to gaming with his friend Ben. That's all he wanted to do here. As soon as he thought that he was free, Lily just tries to kiss him. Like, Lily just straight up goes in for the kiss. However, at this point, right, Ben had been, like, starting to get weirded out. He's like, all right, my sister's, like, not making the best decisions. She obviously has some, like, weird thing for my friend. Like, that's very weird, and I don't mess with that, but, like, whatever. It's just words. However, like, Ben could tell that the situation was escalating, so he was, like, getting closer and closer to, like, break things up just to, like, save his friend. And he noticed, like, Lily kind of, like, make a shift in her attitude. And he noticed her going for the kiss. And Ben literally went in front, grabbed his sister, got between the two, and he's like, whoa, let's calm down here, Lily. Like, I think you've had way too much apple juice at this point. You got to go sit down. Let's get you some water. Let's get you out of here. And he turns around quickly. He's like, John, I am so sorry. Just go sit. I'll be there in a second. We'll play some more COD. Like, it's going to be chill. And John's like, you're good, bro. Like, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you saving the day. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate you. So John goes to sit down, like, downs his entire glass of water as he's just thinking about what just occurred. Eventually, Ben came and sat next to him. He said, hey, man, I don't even want to talk about it. And John's like, yeah, I mean, me neither, man. So they just load up a game and they just play for the rest of the night. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a like in the video and then click one of the 4 videos on screen or another one of my videos. Thank you. Bye.